Tuesday morning, June the 9th. Beautiful Tuesday morning. A little cloudy on the outside, but it's cool outside. Beautiful weather. Well, we got a good one for you this morning. WIDU, a radio station that's knowledge-based and issue-driven. They're always trying to do things to connect us with the community. And one of the recent things the WIDU radio station networks have done was create a program where we call Community Connections with Life on Fort Bragg. And that's where I, Co-Pastor Al McAllister, take time to interview the garrison commander on Fort Bragg to bring all of the events that's happening on Fort Bragg. Now, for the ones that may not be military oriented and don't know what the garrison commander is, he would be more like, kind of like in Fayetteville, the city manager. He has his hand on a little bit of everything what's going on on the post. They'll be able to share with us. So what we want to do at the WIDU radio station is share with our listening community events that's happening on Fort Bragg so that you can go and be a part of it. One of the reasons we do this, sometimes people be saying there's nothing to do. There's nothing going on. Well, there's a lot going on. You just need to be aware of what's going on. So one of the things that WIDU is doing, one of the things they're doing is trying to connect us with Fort Bragg through information. So every month, the second Tuesday of the month, so jot that down in your calendars, the second Tuesday of every month at 9 o'clock, you'll hear it aired, the interview between myself, WIDU, and the garrison commander on Fort Bragg and the sergeant major there. And right now, currently, the garrison commander is Colonel Mixon, along with Sergeant Major Scott. And we interview them every Tuesday, bringing a host of information. And some of the things we shared this morning that's going on Fort Bragg, starting on next week, on June the 13th. They're going to have a live band concert, an awesome concert that's going to be happening right on Fort Bragg. Guys and the LT Dan Band. The LT Dan Band, they're going to be on Fort Bragg on June the 13th, on that evening. So again, you don't want to miss that. If anybody loves good concerts, they're going to have LT Dan Band, Gary, Guys Nice on Fort Bragg. They're going to be doing that up on June the 13th. You don't want to miss that this afternoon. And all you have to do to, if you need more information, let's go to the MWR for Fort Bragg, Google Fort Bragg. It'll give you the time, location, dates of the event, but you don't want to miss that. There's another awesome thing that's happening on that same day. We had a strong interview with Colonel Mixon and Sergeant Major Scott this morning. One of the things he shared with me is that also on June the 13th, other than this humongous concert, and again, if you want to know about the concert, more about it, just on your phone, Google Fort Bragg MWR Morale Support Fund, and it tells you everything about the events that's going on Fort Bragg. So one of the things also that's happening, another thing rather that's happening on June the 13th, is that they're going to have a post-wide yard sale. Yes, a post-wide yard sale. And what that means is that all the communities, all the housing areas in Fort Bragg, from 8 o'clock to 4 p.m., they're going to be having yard sales. So you can go and get anything that you may be looking for on Fort Bragg. I'll share with you let me give you just one highlight of this. Several years ago, my daughter purchased a lawnmower, and all the equipment that goes with it, a yard grinder, not a yard grinder, but a hedger that was purchased from a soldier on Fort Bragg. He was getting ready to deploy. Could not take his lawnmower with him, so he sold the whole set, the hedger, the trimmer, and the lawnmower at a real good price. And she's still using that same equipment right now. Several years ago, it wasn't anything wrong with it. The soldier was just deploying and couldn't take it with him. So again, you can get some great things. So on June the 13th, make sure you spread it to the community. On June the 13th, they're going to have a post-wide yard sale. Any housing area you go into, you can go and just purchase stuff on yard sale. There's some people love yard sale, so this is probably going to be one of the biggest yard sales you ever seen. And again, people be selling all kind of stuff because y'all know how it is. Sometimes soldiers have to deploy; they can't take certain things with them, so they end up selling it out to other people at a real good price. So on June the 13th, the band concert, June the 13th from 8 to 4, the post-wide yard sale. Then you just go right into the concert that afternoon. Then another great thing, now we used to always have, on holidays, the soldiers would be out doing great things. So we know we got the 4th of July coming up. Just giving you this ahead of time. The 4th of July coming up. But what Fort Bragg is going to do, they're going to have what they call Red, White, and Boom Fest. And that's going to be on the 27th of June. They're not going to do it on the 4th of July. What they started doing now is giving the military soldiers time off on that holiday with their family. So on the 27th of June, they're going to have a humongous event called Red, White, and Boom, celebrating the 4th of July. You don't want to miss that. So again, that was some of the things that we were sharing. And also, they got an education program coming up starting in June, going through October, where they're taking train kids different things, events. Like, for instance, starting in June, they're going to have a class on tracking animals. Like, just how, you know how in the old days they used to look at the cowboy pictures, how they would show you how an animal track would be there, and they said that animal passed through a day or two. They're going to actually show you how to do stuff like that, outside activities that would get the kids outside the house instead of sitting on those computers. That's another thing that's getting ready to go on. One of the other great events, many of you have been a part of the Sunrise or Sunset Liberty March. You don't want to miss knowing that event that happens every evening round about sunset. That's what we call the Sunset Liberty March, where we take this long stroll through, and it shows all type of things that's going on that have happened in history on Fort Bragg. You don't want to miss that. That's another great thing that's getting ready to happen on Fort Bragg. For the military, some of the military may not know this, but you know how you had to go to the DMV and stand in line to get your driver's license renewed or get the tags? Well, on Fort Bragg, near the Soldiers Center, they're getting ready to put a DMV right there on Fort Bragg, so you don't have to go off post to get your license renewed, don't have to go and get the tags changed out. It's going to be a area located right near the Soldier Center where you can go, the kiosks will be there, where you can renew those licenses, change the tags out, update them. All of this is happening right at Fort Bragg. There's another great event that's getting ready to happen. Now, for the ones that's been in the military, you know, when they get time to dine, to get ready to eat, we had what we call, in the old days, the mess hall. Then they started to upgrade, and they called it a dining facility. Well, now they're getting ready to create an area where there's more like a campus cafeteria on Fort Bragg near the Soldier Center. Yes, starting, I think it's supposed to have its grand opening in August, where they're going to have a big, humongous cafeteria on Fort Bragg, where the soldiers don't have to go off to get something else to dine. Maybe some of them don't have transportation. They can't go off post. Well, right near the Soldier Center, started in August. I'm not sure the opening date. Google Fort Bragg to be able to get that opening date. But I think it's supposed to be close around the middle of the month, the 13th and the 15th, between that time frame, where they're going to have the grand opening, and that's going to be this humongous cafeteria where you can go on Fort Bragg and dine as if you was off post. So now all of those soldiers that have been wanting to dine but don't have transportation, you've got it right on Fort Bragg. Again, so many things are happening that will connect soldiers to the community, but then there's something to connect the community to Fort Bragg. So those are some of the things that's getting ready to happen on Fort Bragg. Again, the humongous band, the concert that's going to happen, the LT Dan Band, on June the 13th, along with that city, that post-wide yard sale, all that's happening. Now, one note that you need to capture, there's an app that you can load on your phone, a Fort Bragg app called MAPA, M-A-P-A, and it gives you all of the events that's happening on Fort Bragg. And not only can you use MAPA right here, but if you leave and go to another installation, you can just take and Google your MAPA or bring MAPA up, that app up, and it tells you all of the events that's getting ready to happen on the post near you. Now, here's one of the reasons you need to have MAPA, M-A-P-A, on your phone is on Fort Bragg, they've been doing a lot of renovation, a lot of revamping the road system. You know, some of the roads get old, bumpy, et cetera. They've been upgrading all the roads. DOD have partnered with Fort Bragg, and they've upgraded most of their road system. Well, last but not least, they're getting ready to upgrade the All-America road going through the All-America gate. and that's going to take quite some time. If you're familiar with the All-American highway, once you go through the All-American gate, when you go about less than a quarter of a mile, there's a humongous bump that if you're driving over 30 miles an hour, it will almost, if the bump is so bad, it'll almost make you hit the ceiling of your car. Well, they finally figured, they fixed it several times through the years, through the decades, but now they finally figured out with DOT how to make a permanent fix. So they're gonna go through and do a closure of the All-American Gate. Yes, the All-American Gate that thousands of people travel through is gonna be closed. It's supposed to start in July. And it's going to take about 12 to 18 months to do that whole road. Yes, about 12 to 18 months, the All-American Gate is going to be closed. So what that means is that you're going to have to find other gates to go through. And they're already trying to reroute people through other areas. But the best way to keep yourself updated without having to make a phone call to try to figure out is just go to Mappa, M-A-P-A, on the app that you have on your phone, and it'll show you the different gates that's open, because some of the gates, like for instance, the gate on Rock Meredith that goes on, it used to be Riley Road. You know, when they did the post change, they changed some of the name of the roads, and one of the roads that was Riley Road, it was changed to Rock Meredith Road. Well, that gate is closed during the weekend, so that will probably be one of the gates that's open. So to order to keep yourself informed, just Google Fort Bragg MWR, and then figure out how to get Apple or the Mapper on your phone, and you can be able to keep yourself abreast of the events that's happening on Fort Bragg. So those were just some of the things that we took time to share with the Garrison Commander and the Garrison Command Sergeant Major during the 9 o'clock hour that you'll hear every second Tuesday. You can always listen right here to WIDU Studios. That's one of the things. All you need to do is even pull up Community Connections with Life on Fort Bragg, and we take time to share with you all the things that's happening around, in, and about Fort Bragg. For all of you that's saying there's nothing to do, and let me share this with you. It's easy to get a pass. You may be talking to somebody and say, well, I would go on Fort Bragg, but it's hard to get a pass. That used to be, that's old days. You can get a pass to go on Fort Bragg without even going on Fort Bragg. All you need to do is go to MW, let's Google Fort Bragg, and then go to the part where it says passes, and you can go to the homepage, and you'll find the area that says visitors pass. You can get you a visitor's pass without even having to go on the post. It's easy now. All you do is give up your info. You give the same information, your driver's license number, etc., registration, and how many people you have in your car with you. Now, you do have to have a pass to get on Fort Bragg, but it's super easy to get on Fort Bragg. It's not like the old days where you have to stand in line, etc. And you can get your pass in advance. So if you're trying to get your pass for the concert that's coming up, be sure to just go right online, or you can go to the All-American Gate, get your pass so that you can visit Fort Bragg and be able to enjoy some of the things that's happening. So again, just to give you a quick summation of everything before we close out, June the 13th, from 8 to 4 p.m., a post-wide yard sale. Every housing area you go through, they're going to be having a yard sale on June the 13th. Go out there and get some good goodies that for inexpensive cost. Then on the afternoon, they're going to have this humongous concert. Then on June the 27th, they're going to be celebrating the 4th of July called Red, White, and Boom. Then the Sunset Liberty March, you're still doing that every sunset at the same location. Now we got a DMV on Fort Bragg. You don't have to go off, so you won't have to wait in line. Coming in August, the new dining facility that will just like more like a cafeteria style. Make sure you visit Fort Bragg, and if you don't know what's going on, Google Fort Bragg. And if you still don't catch it, join us here at the WIDU Studios. Be listening every second Tuesday at 9 a.m. where we interview the Garrison Commander, Colonel Mixon, and the Garrison Sergeant Major Scott, where WIDU is trying to keep the community connected with Fort Bragg, and the program is called Community Connections, Life on Fort Bragg. I'm hosting, interviewing the Garrison Commander, one of the just new features of WIDU to always make sure our community is well informed. WIDU, a radio station that's inspirational and informational. God bless you. Continue to stay tuned. We're going to continue to keep you informed. Have a great day.